Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we've got a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, and we're going to be taking a look at it. I'm going to show you how to install the CURT Class 3 2-inch hitch receiver. Adding the hitch receiver to the back of your Crosstrek is going to allow you to carry bike racks, cargo carriers, or maybe even pull a small trailer. The Crosstrek is a very versatile vehicle, but the space inside can sometimes be limited. So that's why getting bulkier items like a cooler or some luggage onto a cargo rack, or if you're wanting to take bikes to and from the trail, getting them out of your car, if you can even fit them inside of your vehicle. A lot of times people don't think about, they can put their bikes inside their car when they leave for the trail, but once they're done riding, you have to be very careful to not get your bike covered in mud so you don't have to stick it back inside your car. So getting those bikes onto a bike rack will definitely help you. And then again, if you're wanting to pull a small trailer, you'll just have to check with the owner's manual of your Crosstrek to be sure that your Crosstrek is able to pull what you're wanting to pull. Now this hitch will come with a standard 5/8 inch hitch pin hole. The hitch pin and clip do not come with the hitch. Chances are if you pick up an accessory from us, it's going to come with a pin and clip, whether it's an anti-rattle bolt or another style. We do have just pins and clips available on our website. We have locking and non-locking. The safety chain loops are nice and large, so you can fit different style safety chains on there so that you can get your trailer safely down the road. From the ground to the top inside the receiver tube, it's going to be 14 inches of ground clearance. That should be more than enough space so you don't have to worry about any accessory dragging on the road. What you do want to keep in mind though is if you do decide to take your Crosstrek off-road, you'll want to be weary of your accessory. If you go up any steep inclines or descents, whichever, be very careful. If you got an accessory sticking way out behind your Crosstrek, you just want to keep an eye on it. Now from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost part of the bumper, if we're figuring on these fins here, it's going to be about 2.5 inches. That's a good measurement to keep in mind in case you decide to go with an accessory that folds up to the back of the car. If you watch some of our videos on those accessories, they will give you a measurement from the center of the hitch pin hole on the accessory to the closest part. So that'll help you decide whether or not the accessory that you're looking at is going to be able to fit with this hitch. The other thing that I really like about this is that it looks really, really clean. The hitch is not going to come out any further than these little ribs here are, so you don't ever have to worry about your leg or anything hitting the hitch. Now obviously if you have anything in the hitch receiver sticking out where it's a ball mount or any other accessory, you will have to watch that on your shins. But for the most part, when you're loading stuff in and out of the back of your car, you won't have to worry about the hitch itself. Now when it comes to the installation, this is not a bad installation at all. It's definitely one that you could do from home. The Subaru Crosstrek sits high enough off the ground that you can lay under there in order to get this installed. Some of the other vehicles are pretty tight underneath there. Even if you had to run wiring on this vehicle, you should have no problem running a power wire or any other wiring underneath it. The hardest part about this installation is probably going to be opening up some access holes so that you can get the hardware up and inside the frame. I do recommend a step bit, a very sharp step bit. That will definitely help you open them up, no problem. Get the bolts up and in, and you can get the hitch mounted up. With that being said, let's go ahead and show you how we did it. To begin our installation, we'll need to be underneath our car, and you'll see a couple of rubber plugs here. We're going to need to remove the rearmost one and the forwardmost one. You'll take a flathead screwdriver or a trim panel tool like we've got here, and you just want to pry those out. That's where our bolt's going to drop through. And then this forwardmost hole, we're going to have to enlarge in order to fit our hardware up into it. Now we're going to use a step bit in order to enlarge this hole. I'll just test fit our hardware, make sure it slides up inside that hole. Now that we've got those drilled out, we'll take a putty knife. We're going to have to scrape off some of this sealant here. It's just going to make our hitch not sit even, and you don't want this soft material underneath it, because if this ever erodes or comes out, your hitch is not going to be secure. Now we're going to take our fish wire, run it up through our front hole first. You'll Better if you can reach up there, kind of feel for it. And we're wanting it to drop down through our access hole. Like that. We'll take a spacer block, slide it on, and then thread on our bolts. Now we can take our spacer block, push it up into the frame, followed by our bolt, and then out through the rearmost hole. Now the front one's going to be a little different. We're going to have to put the spacer block on first, and then our bolt. And we're going to reverse fish wire this. And we're going to leave these fish wires on so we don't risk pushing the bolts back up into the frame. Put our bolt up first, and our spacer block, and pull it down through. With that extra set of hands, we got Peyton here to help us out. We're going to lift it up carefully and slide it over top of our bolts. Make sure they both slide out. And then we'll take a flange nut and thread it onto the bottom. Now we're going to take a 19mm socket and snug these up. Now we'll take our torque wrench and torque down our hardware. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can pick one up on our website, or typically you can borrow one or rent one from a local auto parts store. Well guys, hopefully this video is able to help you decide whether or not the CURT Class 3 2-inch hitch receiver is right for you and your 2024 Subaru Crosstrek.